16. Stepovers. The defense shredding dribble. Ronaldo popularized worldwide. Scissors are also heavily known as stepovers. It became world famous through players like Ronaldo. However, in modern football, when managers yell, "Stop overcomplicating things," and "Play simple," this is usually the exact flashy skill they have in mind. The absolute most critical element of the scissors is the position of your supporting plant foot relative to the ball. If your plant foot is locked too far or too close to the ball, as you can see here, it loses all its value as a convincing feint, and you will struggle heavily to maintain clean control. Therefore, whether the ball is stationary or rolling, though I highly recommend doing it with a rolling ball, your plant foot should ideally sit roughly shoulder width apart from the ball. Once that supporting foot is set, you sweep your opposite foot over the top of the ball from the inside out. Personally, I believe the scissors are devastatingly powerful because, from the defender's perspective, it is completely indistinguishable whether you will push wide with the outside or step over the ball until your foot completely clears it. Additionally, because your sweeping leg momentarily shields the ball from the defender's line of sight, it adds an extra layer of difficulty for them. While the goal in a one-of-one is to completely sit the defender down in the opposite direction, using a feint, completely breaking a smart defender's balance purely with a body trick, is no easy task in real football. However, the true beauty of the scissors lies in delaying the defender's reaction time, even if you don't fully send them the wrong way. Therefore, to execute a great stepover, where your sweeping foot lands after crossing the ball, is exceptionally critical. You must plant it in a position that leaves you fully primed to immediately snap the ball away in the opposite direction at any moment. The scissors are a prime weapon for forward line players, particularly wingers. As the team's creative outlets, wingers carry a tactical obligation to take on defenders out wide and break lines. It is also an incredibly functional dribbling tool for center forwards looking to split a center back and open up a shooting lane. Common mistakes, as explained before, include clipping your own foot because the plant foot was too close, looking completely uncoordinated because the plant foot was too far, or spamming it excessively, which wastes stamina and destroys its efficiency. It might be completely presumptuous of us to evaluate Cristiano Ronaldo, who is widely regarded alongside Lionel Messi as one of the greatest players in football history. However, the reason Ronaldo's scissors occasionally feel a bit redundant is that they sometimes lack the body commitment required to make the defender believe he is actually breaking out in that direction. It heavily gives off the impression of doing stepovers, simply for the sake of doing stepovers. Granted, it definitely succeeds in freezing the defender and delaying their reaction time. I believe Ronaldo's scissors delay the defender's feet just enough for his supreme physical athleticism to edge him a step ahead. Then, how can we thoroughly maximize its impact as a genuine feint? And why exactly do the stepovers of a world-class player like Ronaldo convey that specific impression? First, to maximize the stepover's value as a deceptive feint, we utilize the 180-degree strategy. Now, 180-degree strategy is a term coined right here by our soccer tutorial team. Don't go using it randomly around other coaches, they'll think you're crazy. As the name implies, it's a strategy designed to dramatically flip your movement or ball path by a full 180 degrees. The 180-degree strategy within a stepover begins by making a very subtle micro-touch inward with your inside or sole, similar to an inside-outside setup. Keeping the shifting ball in mind, you plant your supporting foot slightly wider to accommodate the space. Right then, you execute a stepover with your opposite foot. From there, you plant that stepping foot firmly and use the other foot to cleanly push the ball along its original traveling direction. This movement is incredibly powerful because the ball continues its track while your body feints in the absolute opposite direction. Whether the defender completely bites or not, cutting away establishes more than enough time to cleanly break lines, fire a shot, or deliver a cross. Granted, if there's an astronomical raw pace deficit, it's tough, but against players with similar athletic traits in your local league or team, it is incredibly useful. This specific pattern has been routinely demonstrated in top-flight football by world-class talents like Ronaldo, Son Heung-min, and Lee Kang-in. Therefore, the variation you are seeing right now represents the absolute pinnacle of stepover efficiency. You softly push it inside, and just as you look ready to execute a standard inside-outside cut, you snap into a stepover to deceive them. Following up immediately with the inside of your opposite foot ensures the ball stays glued within your frame while thoroughly maximizing the feint. Plus, executing it with both feet makes it entirely unpredictable. Look at this from a defender's perspective. Can you easily predict when I'm going to burst away? The second way to maximize this applies to double, triple, or multiple stepovers. To use them effectively, you must execute them while actively driving forward rather than moving side to side, utilizing the motion strictly to disrupt the defender's timing. Cap it at 2 to 3 stepovers max, and read the defender's stance and feet before exploding away. We are currently prepping an in-depth video on how to read the defender's feet and body framework. Here too, while the stepover mechanic itself matters, planting your foot in a highly compelling, deceptive position to thoroughly root the defender is paramount. I highly recommend focusing entirely on this foot placement during your training drills. Because you are performing the scissors while driving directly at the defender, getting too close heavily increases the risk of your ball getting clipped by their legs. Start entering your feint sequence from at least 2 to 3 meters out, and deliver your final exit touch around the 1.5 meter mark. This distance fluctuates depending on your raw pace and the defender's positioning, but the faster you travel, the earlier you must initiate the feint, and the further out you must deliver the exit touch. This is because when you enter with heavy momentum, the first 180-degree strategy variation becomes physically impossible. Your supporting foot cannot withstand a violent 180-degree pivot. However, since you already carry substantial speed, a subtle change of angle is more than enough to fly past. And obviously, instead of mechanically repeating the exact same trick, mixing in other feint patterns intermittently will yield much better results, right? Additionally, to maximize match realism, drilling your stepovers so they link directly into an immediate follow-up shot or cross will heavily elevate your real game efficiency.